Before. There's a caravan from Central and South America, illegal immigrants, heading our direction.
Stop.
Leaving, okay.
You have heard that before.
All right, go ahead and finish. Well, I mean, basically, not only have we heard it before, we've heard it for the last few years. Actually, we heard it with the previous administration. And so alarming was it, even with President Obama in office, he quickly dispatched Vice President Biden to these countries to say, get a hold of your population, because we can't control our own border, and our people are beginning to rebel.
The last one was in April, and here's another one. Thousands of people trekking up through Guatemala. They're trying to get into Mexico, and then they're going to be heading here to the United States. It
does look like it. Right now, the caravan is 1,300 miles from the United States. It started on Friday with 160 migrants. And the president of Honduras said he accused unnamed political groups of trying to make Honduras look bad. And Honduras and Guatemala and El Salvador and Mexico are in a pickle now because our president has said, hey, do something about your own borders and stop these people. Mexico is saying that anybody without proper travel documents will not be allowed to come in. So theoretically, everybody will be stopped at the Mexican border with Guatemala. And there you can see 500 additional security agents being sent to the southern border of Mexico. In the meantime, it looks as if this is just a replay of what we saw back in April, to Ainsley's earlier point. And this kind of thing, though, these images do get the base on the Republican side interested in voting, because clearly it's a choice. Do you want a southern border with a security or not?
We had Tom Honan on earlier. He was the acting ICE director, and he said we're going to continue to see things like this happen because they're trying to take advantage of the system here in the United States. Listen.
The law is clear that in Mexico that people from Central America cannot transit through Mexico without what we call a transit visa. So Mexico can stop these people at the southern border and turn them around, or let them apply for asylum in Mexico. See, here's the thing no one's talking about. If these people are really escaping fear and persecution in Honduras, well, they already went to Guatemala, they're getting to Mexico, so they don't need to get to the United States. So this isn't really about escaping fear and persecution. This is about getting to the United States and taking advantage of the loopholes in the system.
The caravan has grown steadily. They're about 4,000, and they left this violent city of San Pedro Sula. They left on Saturday. They're going to be hitting here in a couple of weeks if they get through Mexico, and they hope to reach Mexico and then come to us. Now, let me ask you something. I feel bad for anybody forced to live under the thumb of gangs whose government is powerless to protect its own people. Right. But I just have to think logically that some of these violent people that force them from their city might just be in this 4,000-person caravan coming this way.
We've heard that before.
Who's financing? Who's got the trucks? Who's got the gas? Who's charted the path?
Well, I would like to believe the majority are not in gangs or violent. Some of these are women trying to get their kids to give them a better life. But yeah, we've heard so many stories of people coming in, and they know the rules, and they know that they're going to be able to get in easier if they have a kid with them. And sometimes people are acting like this kid is their child and borrowing them to get across the border or get asylum. So there are going to be, this is the issue. I mean, it's like we all want everyone to be safe, and we want moms to be able to raise their kids in a safe environment. But you have to make sure that criminals aren't coming in, that drugs aren't coming in, and that's hard to do.
Indeed. That's why Newt Gingrich said that this midterm comes down to the caravan and Kavanaugh. And let's talk a little bit about Mr. Kavanaugh. Of course, he is now on the U.S. Supreme Court. Dianne Feinstein, who is the ranking member on the Democrat side in the Senate Judiciary Committee that vetted him, she said yesterday in a debate with her opponent out in California, Kevin De Leon, that she would favor a reopening an investigation into the allegations against Mr. Kavanaugh.
Do you believe that? That she would reopen an investigation into a sitting Supreme Court justice?
It's such a close race for her. Why would she say that? Why would she want to do this?
Politics, because it has inflamed the political left that he was seated on the Supreme Court. And as she goes forward, she's going to say, look, I did everything I can. If I'm in charge of the Senate Judiciary Committee, we're going to go after this guy. Lindsey Graham said this about that.
Here's what I want every Democratic candidate for the Senate to be asked tomorrow. Do you agree with Dianne Feinstein? If Democrats take control of the Senate, are you for reopening the Kavanaugh investigation? Are you for more humiliation, degrading treatment of this fine man? Are you for continuing this debacle? Do you agree with Dianne Feinstein? If you get in charge of the Senate as Democrats, you're going to go after Kavanaugh again. I think every voter in all these Trump states that have Democratic senators needs to ask that question. Are you with Diane or not?
Wow. Meanwhile, so that's one of the major issues. We'll talk about what it means when the House flips, if indeed it does happen. What it means if the Senate flips. That is less likely.
Well, she did hold on to that letter. Remember, she got the letter in the summer, and she waited until right before the confirmation hearing before she made it public?